Good evening, Rusk enjoyers. I have done right because it's time for Profit Review. Last week we discussed the August 15, 2024 Rustor, and that means today we're here to discuss August 22. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to start yapping. But before I proceed to do that, some of you might be questioning, what's Profit Review? What's going on? Don't worry, I'll explain. Basically, with every Rustor that we have, I will return to it 4 weeks later, now to see how everything turned out. Did everything match up to expectations, and if not, I have to sit here and explain why. And of course, with every Rustor, I make predictions in regards to what potentially might be a very nice investment. Was I correct? Well, you can hold me accountable if I'm wrong. Sounds good? Right, so let's get started. Let's talk about my initial reaction. How was this Rustor? I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw. A lovely variety, but also some very interesting choices. We have the likes of the Frog Chair here, the first marketable chair skin to be accepted in a Rustor in 4 years. I know we had the Ice King pack, but that wasn't marketable, you get the idea. The last one was the Night Sky chair back in 2020. Okay, cool. So that's a totally unique, very interesting skin, but there's a bit of a problem. We didn't have anything to compare it to. Okay, that's a bit awkward. Also, would this potentially, instigate a lot of other skin creators to consider making chair skins in the future, and that potentially could be a bit of a problem for that in terms of investments. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. Ultramarine gets its 4th skin accepted in a row. Sleeping Bag was accepted, and at that point the Ultramarine collection was perfectly comfortably in the positive. Everything was working out for it. The momentum was strong. And then we had the likes of the Redemption Python. Now this was very interesting, very special. For you see, with all the Python skins that we have that exist, there is only one with a very special aim sight. That was the Blackout Python. But then this appeared, and it just so happened to have the exact same transparent aim sight. The Redemption Python was special. Was it potentially going to sell a lot? And was it potentially going to be a very nice investment? Well, we'll talk more about that in a bit, of course. So that was looking to be very special. And of course, part of the Redemption collection, which has been quite successful with its many acceptances. Oh, yes. And then with the likes of the Hellborn AK, I was a bit worried when I first saw it. Because, of course, previously we had the likes of the crossbow, which glowed in the dark. Nope, that was fine. Doesn't glow. All right, maybe it might be all right, but it's an AK47 and investments, you get the idea. And then, of course, 2 batches, well, actually, technically, three batches of clothing and armor. We have the likes of Heavy Knight getting an instant continuation after the likes of the jacket skin. So the jacket was submitted after the hoodie and pants. It was accepted before that. But then the hoodie and pants got accepted after that. Bit odd, but hey, instant continuation. Very nice to see. And we did see even more being submitted on the workshop just the previous weekend. So I'll talk more about that in a bit. Cargo Heli Tier 3. Slightly green. Transparent as well. Could that potentially be interesting? I have an interesting thing to show off with likes that. You're saying interesting, lot. I'm sorry. And gold chains, roadside gloves. Pure gold on my hands. Interesting. Was it going to be successful as an investment? Was it going to be the Mother's Touch? Well, we'll talk about that right now. So looking at all of these skins, thinking about them in terms of investments, I couldn't really talk about the Frog Chair. As I said, there wasn't really anything to compare to, because we had not had a chair skin accepted in 4 years. I literally just said that. You have to understand, between 2020 to 2024, the player counts in Rust had vastly, greatly improved. And the amount of skins that we're seeing being sold every single week was, well, pretty special. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see any, real, what's the word to say? I didn't think we were going to see any relatively calm amount of purchases. I thought we were going to see quite a lot, because again, it was like the first chair to be accepted in a very long time. So, I was skeptical. I couldn't compare it to anything. And here's a little thought. I was under the assumption this probably was accepted due to the fact that a certain interesting collaboration was announced at this time. Do you have a spare $200 for a pair of boots? Anyway, so, alright, cool, you got accepted. Would we see the likes of even more frog skins potentially being accepted? And, as I said, would it instigate other skin creators to consider making chair skins? Because it was a bit of a funny situation. A lot of skin creators would sit here and say, oh, I don't want to make a chair skin because Facepunch never accepts them. Guess what? Skin creators never actually produced them, so they couldn't accept any because there was never any produced. But the whole one gets made and suddenly it's accepted. Just pointing that out. Anyway, so I couldn't really answer for that one. So as I hop over to here and look at my predictions, whilst I kind of left that as a bit of a wild card, looking at all the other skins, what was looking to be very appealing, I had to bring up the likes of the Redemption Python. So as I'd already said, I instantly made the connection between the likes of the Blackout Python with its very interesting, useful aim sight, which you get to see just a little bit more. So with this short video, I do a very quick comparison. So shoot, 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 bang, 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 and over to here I had the Redemption Python with the exact same aim sight. Things were looking very appealing. I couldn't help but assume things were going to potentially work out ever so nicely for the Python. But the main potential problem was, how much was it going to sell by next Thursday? That was the main problem that I was looking forward to finding out. Not exactly super ecstatically, but you get the idea. I had to wait, I had to be patient. So it was abnormal, that was useful, that was fine. So out of the other skins, what was also looking to be very appealing, I also questioned the likes of the Ultramarine sleeping bag, because I was pretty confident potentially we're going to see another Ultramarine skin being accepted after this. And it just so happened that we were aware of the likes of a sheet metal double door that was submitted. So, okay, alright, maybe. Actually, I think that's submitted after this rust door. I don't fully remember, but you get the idea. There was another one that was produced afterwards. So, in short, I had to wait and see what potentially was going to get submitted, and I kind of leaked that accidentally. Sorry about that, but you get the idea. A sheet metal double door was produced. Was it going to get accepted at the very next rust door? Much like all the previous Ultramarine skins, we had to wait and see, but things were strong. The Ultramarine collection had a lot of momentum behind it, but I was questioning, alright, we've had 4 acceptances in a row, surely maybe we're going to stop now. Hey, I didn't know, so I had to wait and see. And then the likes of the clothing and armour, both of them were looking very interesting. So Heavy Knight, hoodie and pants were accepted after the likes of the jacket skin, and I didn't bring this up, so I'll mention it again. We had the likes of Tier 3 being submitted, like, just as it was accepted. So if I were to just quickly show you all the workshop skins here, the hoodie and pants came before the jacket. This was accepted first, this was accepted second, and then we saw the likes of Tier 3 being produced when this was accepted. So on the horizon, were we going to see this being accepted? New core piece? Ooh, interesting. We had to wait and see. So things were looking pretty strong for the likes of that as well. And then when it came to the likes of Cargo Heli Tier 2, I was like, well, hang on a minute. Isn't that like vaguely green with some transparency and whatnot? Yes, it's got a bit of orange. But what if I were to wear the likes of flashbacks with it? Could it work out as perfectly fine, cheap green camouflage? I was curious, so much so that I actually went ahead and made a video showcasing this. So we did some comparisons, we compared it to likes of Reptile Hunter, Forest Raiders, and it was okay. It wasn't spectacular, but it was okay, you know, and for the price that it was definitely a consideration. So that video was made, quite a lot of people watched it. I'm sure a lot of people questioned maybe Cargo Heli potentially could be alright. So alright, cool. And then with the likes of the gold chains, road sign gloves. Let me end. Shut up, Hedge. I'm the one talking. with that, there's a problem. It was a very weird collection because we didn't really have any other clothing and armor pieces at this point, and it basically consisted of a pair of road sign gloves, leather gloves, and a poncho, a very strange, silly poncho. And I was just like, well, I mean, maybe on the horizon we'll get the likes of hoodie and pants, Tier 2, Tier 3, maybe, possibly. But it had already been done, right? So, okay, maybe they'll try again. I mean, if the collection's only like this, I wasn't really optimistic about it. I was questioning it a lot, so I wasn't very, you know, on point and super ecstatic about this one. I had to be a bit careful, I guess you could say. So I acknowledged that. Cool. So lots of predictions were made. How did things turn out? Right, so here is the first 24 hours of sales, and things were moving pretty strongly to a point. So, with the likes of the Frog Chair, over 8,000 subscribers. Alright, clearly a lot of people were very happy to see a chair skin finally being accepted after a very long time. That was cool. But then it kind of instantly slowed down with the likes of Redemption Python, Ultramarine Sleeping Bag. Only 6,000 subscribers? Is that it? Maybe a lot of people wanting to wait until the last second. But projecting from here, it really didn't look like the Redemption Python was going to sell as much or more than the Blackout Python. It looked like it was going to sell significantly less. Along with the likes of the Ultramarine Sleeping Bag, I mean, I was only guessing like 14 to 16,000 subscribers for both of these, and I kind of was expecting more. Now, initially, with the likes of the Ultramarine Sleeping Bag, I made a bit of a connection thinking that with this collection being quite strong, maybe it could have potentially worked out exactly like the Abyss Sleeping Bag from the previous year. This was part of a notable collection that had quite a lot of acceptances before it, notably deplorable skins, and it ended up not selling that much, and because of that, it went up in price ever so nicely. Just a couple months back, this was selling for more than $6. because there was hardly anything. And Abyss Collection was beloved. People liked it, and people wanted more. And with that, when people wanted a full set of them, they had to go buy this, and there was only so many to go around, and it rose up in price ever so nicely. Could the same could have happened to that? Well, after the first 24 hours of sales, I was like, no, it looks like it's going to be selling quite a fair bit more. Not an insane amount, but a fair bit more. So that would mean there'd be a lot more to go around, and the price would probably take a little bit longer to rise up in price. But surely the deplorables in this collection could still work out. Well, I was questioning it a little bit more when we were looking at the likes of these sales. Heavy Knight hoodie and pants, selling quite a fair bit less compared to that jacket skin. Jacket did 19,000 subscribers in total after its tenure in the Rust store. But the likes of this, it looked like it was selling less. It was looking like it was only going to do about 14,000 subscribers. Huh. And then with the likes of Cargo Heli Tier 2, you really didn't look like you were selling that much. And with the likes of the AK, I mean, you're doing alright. It was an AK though. And the Redstone gloves, wasn't too surprised to see it wasn't selling that much. As I said, bit of a strange collection. So now let's go ahead and talk about the likes of how things progressed to the point where we did the abnormal barders. So it was Wednesday night, and I had to sit here and question, right, we were aware of things that have been submitted, aka collection continuations that are in the workshop, and we were looking at the current, subscriber counts here. What was I thinking in regards to prices I wanted to offer for these skins? So, I looked at the likes of Frogchair. I questioned it. With the previous workshop, or rather the most recent batch of workshop skins, nobody had produced a chair skin. Alright, okay, so that was calming. That was okay. But also, we saw the likes of a Frog Garage door being produced. Alright, okay, maybe things might actually work out alright for the likes of this Frog Chair. Maybe people just put off with the idea of making a chair skin. We shall see. Maybe some other people just weren't ready to make a chair skin instantly. Maybe it might happen afterwards. I was definitely thinking in my head, alright, we're just about to go through the likes of September, October, November, because it was literally August 22 to remind you. Maybe I might want to just play it sort of safe. Basically, it got to the point where I was like, alright, at bare minimum, I don't expect it to go below $1. So I went with $1 to $1.50. It was a $2 skin, and I thought, okay, it'll probably drop off a fair bit, but surely it'll still work out quite alright in the future. And I did have doubts that we were ever going to see the likes of another chair skin anytime soon. So, alright, okay, I was a fair bit optimistic with the likes of that. Then it came to the likes of the Ultramarine sleeping bag. I was a bit concerned. See, as I said, I couldn't help but assume that potentially maybe the consecutive acceptances was going to finally stop. Would it still hold up strong though? Would we see random deplorables still being accepted for likes of Ultramarine here and there? I wasn't really sure how to approach it. I went with 90 cents to $1.30. I played it a fair bit safe. So, okay, cool, that's fine. And then I looked at the likes of the Hellborn AK47. It's an AK47, 60 cents to 80 cents. Very sorry to say. I know it's selling for $2.49, but yeah, I just wasn't really optimistic for it. Sorry to say. Then it came to the Redemption Python. Okay, so to my surprise, it didn't sell that much, or rather, it didn't sell as much as I was initially expecting. See, with the Blackout Python, if I can recall, it did around 19 to 20,000 subscribers. Not an insane amount, but it's still more compared to the likes of this Redemption Python. I really did feel like the likes of this Redemption Python was going to sell a fair bit more compared to it. Nope, it sold less. Now, the Blackout Python, when this was first accepted, was $15. And with the arrival of that, it actually went down by $2. Quite funny. So here's the point. If people can't afford $13 for the likes of a Blackout Python, they could easily go for the $2.49 Redemption Python instead. I could see it having quite a lot of demand. And I did expect more Redemption skins to be accepted here and there in the future, so as long as the skin creator kept making them. Anyway, so I went with the likes of $1.50 going all the way up to potentially $2.20. Yeah, I was going strong. I honestly thought, I don't think it's going to struggle that much during the likes of the autumn fall seasonal dip. I could assume that it was going to work out ever so nicely and potentially rise up in price to a point maybe like $4 by next summer, the summer of 2025. So, alright, okay, Redemption Python. You might struggle a little bit, maybe. You might just hold up and stay evens for a solid half a year maybe, but after that I could only assume during the likes of post-Christmas 2025 and the summer of 2025 it was going to flourish and do nicely. Alright, I'm pretty sure there was demand. Cool. So I was going on pretty strong with the likes of that. And then when it came to the likes of the Heavy Knight clothing, the hoodie and pants, I wasn't really sure. I wasn't 100% convinced we're definitely going to see the likes of another instant continuation. I thought, you know what? The hoodie and pants, the jacket, it's a nice combination. Maybe it just stops there. Maybe that would be right. I was well aware of the tier 3, but I just wasn't 100% sure. Also, I was also remembering the likes of, at this point, we'd already had the likes of the Hardsuit collection, the Cyber collection, the other one I can't remember. I'm so sorry. Funnily enough, it was made by the same people that made this. What was it called? It was called Damascus. That was it. Sorry about that. My brain. Anyway, I went with 90 cents to $1.40. I thought, you know what? There's still a decent chance there could potentially be another acceptance pretty quickly. So yeah, I could probably still do about $1.40. And just to remind you, these are selling at $1.99 each. So okay, yeah, that seems about right. So that's what I did. And then with the likes of the Cargo Heli Tier 3, I wasn't really sure. Whilst I did do the nice comparison compared to the likes of the Reptile Hunter set and of course the Forest Raider set, I didn't know if we're going to be getting any continuations anytime soon. Basically, Cargo Heli did not get an instant continuation being produced on the workshop the following week. It all could, but hey, maybe it could still be seen nicely. That could be used with likes of flashbacks. I wasn't 100% sure. So basically, with the buy orders, and they were priced differently, for the kilt, I went with 90 cents to $1.30. For the vest, I went with 90 cents to $1.30. And with the likes of the Cargo Heli helmet, which was sold at a cheaper price at $1.49, I went with 70 cents to $1. I wasn't really 100% sure how things would go, but maybe things could have worked out all right. At the very least, with 2 buy orders, if things went a bit awkward with the higher price buy order, I could just remove it and keep the lower price one. It's a perfect strategy. Alright, and then with the likes of the gold chains, road sign gloves. Oh yeah, I didn't even bring this up. Every single skin in this rush store was abnormal. I completely forgot about that. That was funny. Yeah, every single one of them was abnormal. It was a great week. It was a pretty good rush store. With the likes of that gold chains, road sign gloves, I went with $1.20 to $1.70. It was the 5th lowest selling gloves. It was the 5th lowest. I went with $1.20 to $1.70, and one of the biggest reasons as to why was due to the fact that it was the 5th lowest selling road sign glove skin ever. But I could still assume it was going to go down in price by a fair bit. But these low-selling road sign gloves, I looked at them, I compared. Some of them actually did work out quite nicely. So I thought maybe, just maybe, that gold chains road sign gloves potentially could work out quite alright in the future. Maybe. Yeah, so those are the buy order prices. Now, did I actually buy anything from this rush store? Yes, I bought 100 Redemption Pythons. I was confident. The buy order support on it basically went all the way up to $2.49, the price it sold for the rush store. And after I saw that, I was like, okay, the abnormal buy order support is very strong in it. I'm buying some. Initially, I only bought 50, but then later in the day, later on the Thursday, on the day, just before the next rush store was about to appear, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy another 50. I really should. And I did. And I'm happy with that. Right, so how have the skins turned out? Let's go take a look. Frog Chair, you have gone down in price a bit. Now, you were lower at one point, but you're basically comfortably sitting here at $1.60-ish at the moment. We are currently in September, just about to enter the likes of October, and you're doing all right. Your buy orders, you're still good. It doesn't really look like you're going to be going down that much, but yeah. There's no $1.50 buy order anymore, is there? They got sold. Now, I was someone who bought 55 of them at about $1.50. I'm fine with that. Like, as I said, did we see any more chair skins being produced ever since this one? No. It's been 4 weeks. I have not seen another proper well done, well made chair skin being produced in the workshop. It hasn't happened. So okay, it's got no competition. Maybe during the likes of the post Christmas and of course the likes of the summer of 2025. So as long as we don't see any more chair skins, I can't help but assume it's going to work out quite nicely. But unfortunately, there's another thing I need to mention. Did we see any more frog skins being produced and accepted? No, didn't happen. I kind of thought it could have been a possibility, what with this collaboration going on, but no, didn't happen, I'm afraid. Alright, fair enough, it wasn't the end of the world. Frog Chair, you still worked out quite alright. Yes, you still went down in price. It was expected, but you've basically held on quite strong. My prediction turned out quite alright. So yeah, the price was fairly okay. Can't complain. But if you were like me and you stuck with your $1.50 buy order, congratulations, you bought quite a lot of them. At a cheaper price though. Okay, that's fine. And then we have the likes of Ultramarine sleeping bag. So you worked out quite alright, but it was a bit funny. So, what happened? We saw a sheet metal double door being produced, but it wasn't accepted. No, it was a perfectly fine looking sheet metal double door, but it was not accepted. We had a combo breaker. So there was a week where we didn't have an Ultramarine skin being accepted. Oh dear, oh dear. But then the week after that we had the furnace accepted. Yeah. Okay, cool. Can't complain. And as you can see right now, it's doing pretty good. We're currently going through the likes of the Auto 4 seasonal dip, and we actually have a sheet metal door in the positive. So that is a big surprise. But then again, it's got a lot of support behind it. People clearly like it. Alright, fair enough, and Facepunch is keen on accepting more of it. But of course, we haven't had one accepted in about 3 weeks. Maybe things might change with the upcoming Rustore, we shall see. But yeah, that has worked out nicely. Good for you, Sleeping Bag. You're currently sitting here with a nice positive price, and there's only 31 of them listed on the Steam market. I will sit here and say I will not be surprised in the slightest if that potentially rises up in price a fair bit more, of course, in the likes of summer 2025. So keep an eye on that. Maybe you might want to consider buying one next month if this potentially goes any lower in price, so we shall see. Alright, so the sleeping bag worked out alright. The chair was okay. What about the Redemption Python? So, a lot of people did wait until the last second to jump in and buy some, me included, and right now it's currently down by a single penny. No, that's fine, that's fine. If that is it at its worst, I ain't complaining. Yeah, I was a bit dramatic there, but no, this is totally fine. So if I just go over to here and quickly take a look at this barter support and look at the listings. Right, so I'm looking at the listings. I do not see any major dumping. There's an 18 there, there's a 10 there. If I go all the way down here, there's a 20 there, there's a 21 there. This is fine. This is totally fine. Yep, the barders have kind of gone down a fair bit. So here's the funny thing. There was a guy that did like, what was it, like 300 quantity for a barder at like $2.50, but he removed it and he went lower. He went down to here. I think that's him. He might have moved it again, but anyway, the support is still there. The price is still holding perfectly fine. Yes, it's basically evens at the moment, but this is the bad times. This is supposed to be when, you know, there's hardly any people playing. Well, let's just say a lot less people playing the game, less demand for skins. Prices are supposed to suffer really badly. I don't see that happening here. It's surviving. It's doing A-OK. So that's what it looks like right now. How's it going to look in January 2025, post-Christmas? How's it going to look during the summer of 2025? Things are optimistic, things are looking good, and I don't think we'll be seeing another Python skin like this anytime soon. I'm optimistic, I'm still holding strong, I'm perfectly happy with the choice I made to buy 100 of them. So that is looking A-OK, and yeah, no, everything worked out there as well. I'm on a roll, 3 out of 3. Hellborn AK47. You were a perfectly fine looking AK. I wasn't very strong, I just wasn't feeling super confident with the likes of it. I remember the eyeball. So, yeah, this hasn't gone down in price that badly. Let's just go take a look at it. Right, here we are. So, as you can see, there's only 48 listings on the Steam market. On average, we normally have around 100 quantity for most Rust skins on the Steam market, and it's actually doing pretty good. Yeah, it's doing better compared to most AK-47 skins. So, by default, I looked at it and I went 60 cents to 80 cents. You know what? It did better than that, and props to you. I guess I can sit here and say I was wrong. By default, I assumed, alright, yeah, never okay, whatever, but no, people like it. There's some desirability there. Maybe that actually works out quite right, and when we go through good times, maybe it goes and bounces back up into the positive. I'd love to see it. But as of now, it still did go down in price, and the barders, they have kind of climbed up a little bit, but yeah, it's still kind of the same thing. Still went down in price, but it didn't do as bad compared to most, so I'll still sit here and say I was wrong in that regard. So Hellborn AK47, perfectly fine, and if you like it, go grab one now, because as I said, maybe it rises up in price in the future. We shall see. Right, let's move on to Heavy Night Hoodie and Pants. So, Heavy Night Collection. It kind of turned out to end up exactly like Ultramarine Collection. Whilst this basically ended after, you know, that week here, Heavy Night kept getting more and more acceptances. After the jacket skin, we got the hoodie and pants, and after hoodie and pants, we got the likes of Tier 3, and after that, we got the boots and gloves. Cool. Alright, so basically, we're in a position now, we're still anticipating likes of Tier 2, maybe some weapons and whatnot, but it hasn't happened yet. Bit unfortunate, but it did get those consecutive continuations. Now, with the current state of this collection, whilst we did get quite a lot of the skins accepted, and there was interest, and the sales were okay, only 13 to 14,000 subscribers, it has gone down a fair bit for the likes of the hoodie. The pants are still reasonably okay. With the borders that I suggested, what was it, 90 cents to $1.40? That turned out perfectly fine. So yes, whilst this did dip down in price, it hasn't dramatically gone down terribly. As you can see, only 30 listings. It's fine. It's okay. Some people might have put down a stronger barder. Oh, look, there I am. And I have bought a few of them. Yes, I have. So, yeah, my barder was actually correct there. Yep. And if I were to go over to the likes of the pants, pretty much the exact same thing. It still has decent support. Hasn't been going down in price that much. We have been getting those continuous acceptances, so obviously you have momentum. everything worked out reasonably okay. Will we ever see the likes of Tier 2? We shall see, but yeah, it was fine. It's okay. And of course, I'm going to talk about the continuations next week. So, yep, alright, that's fun. Then we have the likes of Cargo Heli Tier 2. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't any continuations produced over the course of the next 4 weeks. Quite a shame. Actually, there was a bow skin. A bow skin's not going to help out the tier 2. No, it's not, just not going to happen. So, yeah, it was quite unfortunate, but eventually, surely, maybe, possibly, we'll see more Cargo Heli clothing and armour being produced. It just hasn't happened yet. Big shame, but the prices we suggested, 90 cents to $1.30. Well, I don't see any $1.30 barders here anymore, but still basically at $1.30. I'd like to sit here and say I was reasonably correct. And if if I did end up buying a few of these, which did happen, did I remove my barder? Yes, I did. Yeah, I thought it could go lower, and it kind of has, but it's kind of been sitting here at the moment. This is the bad times, and yeah, a bit unfortunate, but kind of not surprised, to be honest, I'm afraid. No continuations, no love, everybody forget, and when people forget, price go down. It's as simple as. So I'll sit here and say, whilst I was correct with the prices, I was a bit too optimistic to assume people would look at it potentially as a nice budget green camouflage option. It still is okay, it's just, yeah, people didn't really catch on to it, which is fine, People suggested I do comparisons, and when I did it, I thought, hey, why not make a video out of it? And that's what I did. So I'm not upset that I did the comparisons, but clearly it didn't catch on. So, all right. Moving on, we have the likes of the gold chains, roadside gloves. It's down to $1.57. Bit of a shame, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. There's only 60 listings. Barders are still there. Hasn't dramatically gone down in price. It's lost $1 of its value, basically, but a few more sales here and there, and it's back up. Now, I will sit here and say this, the skin creators did produce another attempt for some tier 2 armour, but it hasn't been accepted, and they've moved on, it seems. So, yeah, there was another attempt to produce more gold chains skins, but it just wasn't accepted. Face Punch just doesn't like gold. What a shame, what a shame. But if that is it at its worst, with the prices I suggested, $1.20 to $1.70, hey, maybe it does work out quite all right. And just to quickly prove this point, out of all the roadside glove skins, let's just look at them by subscriber counts, and I can confirm to you that with the lowest subscribers, it is the 5th lowest. Can we confirm that? Did it get any more subscribers? Let's go find out. Oh, it did get pipped. Right, so it's actually 7th. So it did get a few more sales. At that point, when we did the abnormal barders, it was 5th, but now it's 7th. Still a fair bit low, but yeah, you get the idea. And there's only 45 of these, which is kind of surprising. Alright, anyway. So overall, I did get quite a lot of these correct. I guess I can gloat about that maybe, but this turned out quite alright. For a Rustor, where every single skin was abnormal, it was super helpful. And I got quite a lot of people watching me during that week. That was fun. So, yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a Rustor like that every single week, but we took advantage of the abnormal barders. We saw the support, then we did make considerations, but evidently only the Redemption Python got a lot of purchases afterwards, at least from my end. Yeah, so cool. So the very next week we'll be talking about the likes of the August 29, 2024 Rustor, another batch of interesting choices, clothing and armour, deplorables, some weapons. So yeah, we've got some interesting continuations there as well, didn't we? And I look forward to talking about that next week. But for now, it's a wrap. August 22, you're reasonably okay, and that's fine. No issues, no problems. Feel free to comment below. Did you pick up any of these skins for a super cheap price? Did you flip any? Did you make any profits? I'd love to hear it. And with that, thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you later. See you, goodbye.